So up to this point, you have learned how to draw different sketch entities. So we have, again, things like lines and circles and rectangles and arcs. You've also learned how to apply dimensions to those different sketch entities. The next series of videos are going to focus on constraints. So if you sort of look near the bottom, those two bottom rows right now, those are sort of different constraints. And constraints are really just sort of mathematical relations between different sketch entities in your sketch. So what I want to kind of just go over this video is sort of an overview of what happens as you make sketches, and we're going to dive into each of these individually in future videos. For right now, I'm just going to make a center point rectangle, and I'm going to make the center of my rectangle lined up with the origin, and I'm just going to make a basic rectangle. And what I want you to see is that as you do something like this, Onshape is trying to guess what constraints you may want to apply, and it does it for you automatically. So if I move my menu up where it says constraints, this is going to list all the constraints that have been made so far. All right, so you see some coincident, midpoint, horizontal, perpendicular, so on and so on. Now, if you press on any of these, it's going to highlight in the sketch what entities are sort of constrained by that. So for example, perpendicular, so we have two lines at a 90-degree angle. So this particular constraint is looking at the top and right lines. Right? Another example that you may know is parallel. So again, the left and right lines are going to be parallel. We also have a horizontal constraint for the top line. So when you make a rectangle, again, it's just going to assume that every angle will be 90 degrees because that's what a rectangle is. Top and bottom will be horizontal. The left and right will be vertical. And they will be parallel to each other. Now, if it ever makes a constraint that you don't want, and it's sort of constraining you too much, you can actually delete these. So if I don't want that top line to be constrained, to be horizontal, I can sort of take my finger and swipe to the left and delete that. All right, so now I can actually change that line so it's no longer horizontal. All right, likewise, the center point of this rectangle has some constraints as well. So right now, it is coincident with the origin. If I delete that, I can now select this rectangle and move it around. All right, but if I back up, and if that coincident constraint is still there, I cannot move my rectangle. It's sort of locked into place. So again, if this is an example. If you want to move it, again, just delete that coincident constraint. Now you can move the rectangle around. So that's those are the constraints. In the next few videos, we'll be talking about each of them